Good morning.
Hey, Laura.
Good morning. How are you?
You there, Laura?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
If you're talking to me, I can't hear you.
I am talking to you. How about now? Alan? M. Can you hear me now? No, it's not working. Let me leave again. That's weird. Yes, I hear you. I know you don't really need me for this, but I to talk anyway, but I wondered what the problem is. I'll log off and come back in. Okay, bye.
Hey, Corey, can you hear me?
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Laura, I don't think
I
it's
can hear both of
working.
y'all.
I still can't hear you. I can see your box light up like you're talking, but I can't hear anything.
Yeah.
I can hear both of y'all talk.
You can hear me, Corey?
Yep, I can hear both of y'all.
All right, cool. Okay, we're good. Super. Thank you so
Corey,
much.
can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear both of you. Yep.
Great. Thank you.
It might be on my end, Laura, because it looks like Corey's trying to answer back too, and I'm not hearing anything.
Oh, it's you. Okay. Oh, okay. Corey, I'm going to call Alan.
Okay.
Hey, Laura. It's you. Okay.
Good morning, everyone.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
We had some minor technical difficulties this morning on Alan's end, so he's calling in. He's on, but he's just making sure that was all working. Oh, he's calling me. Bye.
Test.
All right, good morning, everybody. We're still having some minor technical difficulties, but I've got Alan piped in through my cell phone. He's going to talk, and I just need a show of hands if you can hear him. Alan, please proceed. You're good, Alan. People hear you.
Okay, good. Sorry about that. I've got both my computer and my phone doesn't seem to want to let me talk, or on the other one I couldn't hear anybody. So I don't know what our issue is, but welcome into week 2 of the 2025 legislative session. We had a little bit more movement this week, but not a whole heck of a lot. Couple of things I just want to talk about, and feel free to chime in with any comments or questions that you have. We're, as usual, now we're starting with the transportation bills. We've got 1397, 1662. That's the department's package. It still has not moved. And none of the agency packages are moving at this point. DBPR, all of them. And it might just be that they're going to wait a little bit and make sure they got it all together before they run them, or they're just going to jam them through when they're done. So we'll get with them and try to figure out what's going on. Do I have John or Derek on here?
Hey, Alan, I just jumped in. I think I came in at the right time because I want to speak about this bill if I can.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yes, I had a meeting with the department on the 6th on a different part of the bill, but they had a meeting just yesterday with Rob Vickers. Rob is the staff director for Senate Transportation. The sponsor of the bill in the Senate, Senator Collins, is also the is also the chair of that bill, or the chair of the committee and the sponsor of the bill. And what Rob shared with me is they're preparing that this bill may be up as early. The Senate version may be up as early as next week, which is week 3. Definitely by week 4, but they're aiming for next week. There are not a lot of questions. There are questions being asked from varying parts, the airports whom we represent, the seaports as well. I had a conversation with Cody Farrell last night. Cody's one of the governor's deputy chief of staff. DOT reports to him. a lot of things in that bill that Cody is the author of and heavily involved in. I've been meeting with Jack Rogers and Melissa Smith within the department, just talking through the bill. And so they have made it known that they are interested in meeting with any and all parties and persons who have interest in the bill to kind of talk through things. The Senate is looking to have the bill heard as early as next week in transportation. On the House side, things have been pretty quiet. It's been, they are working on the bill. There's some differences in both bills, of course, but there's also, there's still some remedies left over from the governor and the legislature's fight on immigration. Senator Collins was aligned with the governor through that, and so there's been a little bit of leftovers from that. So I haven't heard yet from the House what their plan is. As they're going to hear the bill next week or week 4 or not, but the Senate bill should be up as early as next week.
Okay, Laura, I could hear Derek fine when he first started talking, but then it went quiet. I don't know if I could barely hear him. Did that happen to y'all too, or is it just me?
Yeah, I heard him fine.
Yeah.
I heard him fine.
Thank you all. I appreciate y'all hearing me fine.
Monday on a Friday.
Okay.
So here. Let me pull you back up here. So, all right. So whatever Derek said, but Derek, I'll get with you after the call. See what we need to do, because we need to see. Do you know if anybody talked to the secretary about putting our language in to do the tuition reimbursement?
So, Alan, I don't know if you can hear me now. I'm actually talking to Jack Rogers.
I can hear you better.
Okay. I'm leaning all the way into my camera, sir, and into the microphone. But I'm actually talking to Jack Rogers after this call. So I'll have an update for you. And just a reminder, Jack works for the secretary in-house, legislative affairs director. So I'm going to circle back up with him after this call. So I'll have an update for you.
Right. Okay.
Hey, Derek, this is JW. Can you
Hey, JW.
clue me in on that too? Because I want to make sure we're doing the right actions to get that added in.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, man.
All right. So moving on, we have FTBA's bills 462 and 567. Again, those have not moved. Derek, are you hearing anything on those? I know last week you had reported that FDOT was working with the transportation builders on some issues in the bill. So are they still doing that, or do you know where they're at?
Is that still happening? And there are some concerns from, I think, the department's perspective, and I can't speak intelligently to which all of them are, but there are some, and they are working through that. I will tell you, there's a part of that bill, that last line there, Alan, on the Sarasota Manatee Airport Authority. That language is important to McFarland, and so if this bill can't get motion, she's gonna try to put that somewhere else. Of course, that's an airport that's in her district, but there is work still being happening. So I'll ask Jack when I talk to him if he can give me an update on that bill as well. I mean, they've been very adamant to everybody. This is not our bill. This is not our bill. This is not our bill. And so I'll get an update on that one as well.
Okay. I just know, I mean, if anybody listening in here has anything to say about that bill, I really haven't heard that much. I haven't heard, either pro or con on any of the provisions in there. So if there's stuff in there we want or stuff in there that we don't want, please get that information to me as soon as you can. All right, moving on. This is a new one on this report, utility relocation. It just requires utility owners to provide DOT and local government entities with utility relocation schedules within a certain time frame to expedite work. I don't know if that affects us or not. I'm sure our folks are involved in those relocations, but if anybody has any comments on those, the one bill has moved. House Bill 703 did come out of its first committee. It's now in the Commerce Committee, and they only gave it 2 references. So it looks like that's something leadership might be in favor of. Has
Alan,
not moved in the Senate.
we have a comment or a question. Joe?
Okay.
Yeah, sorry to go back on 567. but I did get some feedback through our liaison committee. DOT is not in favor of the 18-month provision for PD&Es that's in that language. I think that the consulting industry would feel the exact same way. It pressures us to do things that are outside of our control.
Okay.
Thank you, Joe. Brent has a comment or a question. Brent?
Yeah, I was just going to let you know, I talked to someone at central office yesterday about the utility relocation bill, and they had concerns because I haven't had a chance to dive into the language, but they had concerns that the department was going to be holding the bag to pay the utility companies to make the relocations, and it was going to be a huge increase to their work program cost. So it's something for us to maybe dive into a little bit on that one.
Thank
Hey,
you.
can y'all hear me?
Yes?
This is Doug Holdner. Are we on the utility relocation?
No, we went
Bill?
back to 567 just temporarily.
I'm sorry. Forgive
That's
me. I'll
okay.
mute until you're back on it.
That's cool. Thanks. Alan, you got that
Sorry,
from
Laura.
Joe and Brent?
Sorry, Laura, my
I did.
comment was on the utility relocation House bill as well.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, so yes. So the comment from Joe was on 567. The comment on from Brent was on 703 and 818, the utility relocation. And now Doug has some insight on that one too.
I do believe the utility relocate is limited to like broadband and such. It's not, I think it carves out that specific aspect of it. So it's not like electricity, gas, that type of utility. Still an expense, but it's like fiber, AT&T, Comcast, those types of utilities. I did hear, I mean, obviously it's going to be an expense to whatever authority has jurisdiction of that roadway. So the comments I've heard from like counties and such is, you know, they're not real happy about it.
All right, this is JW. Yes, it's specific to the fiber and communications. This bill was to address statewide issues with AT&T's relocations. Not sure where or how that's going to happen, but yes, it would dilute the DOT's work program with additional expense to pay the broadband carriers.
Okay, I've got that noted. Anything else on the utility relocation? Here. 215 is construction disruption assistance. We spoke about this one a little bit yesterday on the CLGR call. First of all, this is being done by two Democrats. I don't know that it will get legs anyway, especially with Escamani having it in the House. However, I put it on here because I could see, that don't know, and
Hey, Alan, we're
some
having
of
trouble
these-
hearing you. You're coming through about every 2 or 3 words.
Sorry, guys, I'm piping it in from my cell phone into my computer. I've got it right up here against the screen. I'm sorry. Guys, anybody?
Nothing.
We can hear you. We can't hear him.
We can hear you, Laura.
We can hear you.
Wow. Okay. He's coming clear for me off from the phone on the speaker, so I'm not sure what's going on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, hold. Guys, I'm gonna switch rooms here and go get on Stacy's computer. She just stuck her head in the door, so give me 1 minute.
Okay. Thanks for your patience, guys.
Right on that side, and the microphone's on.
All right, is this better?
Yeah.
All right. Hold on, let me hang up my phone. Just don't call me Stacy. All All right, so we had moved to the construction disruption assistance, and what I was saying was that, first of all, the bills are being done, it's being done by Democrats. I can see the small business community getting behind something like this, maybe not on these bills. So I want to kind of keep it up on our radar, but I believe the way it's set up now is that the money, this would be to pay small businesses when there's a road project going on and they're losing business because of the project. It would not come from transportation money, however, it would come from the Department of Commerce. So I don't know if we have any issue with that or not. I know we probably would if it switched over to transportation money used to fund that, but I don't know if anybody's got any thoughts on that. It's just kind of an interesting issue. Hearing none, I'll move on to Senate Bill 1738. This is one of the transportation concurrency bills, and I hadn't heard, anything negative about it so far. I think Scott's talked on here a couple of times about concurrency, but just want to keep this one on there because it's on the agenda for next week. So it may start moving. That's Senator Ngolia's bill. Okay. Neither of the House bills are moving, or no, I'm sorry, the other Senate bill is not moving. That one's by McLean. They're all identical, and 203 in the House hasn't moved yet either. Don't need to talk about transportation. We don't need to talk about these last two. I think, they're very simple, and yeah, I just had my questions about, the public records requirements in 518 and 887. So hadn't really heard anything back on that. So JW, do you have anything additional?
Not right now, Alan. That's all I've been hearing. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so we're right on schedule here. We'll move to the general bills. Okay, wanted to talk about this one for a minute. This is the one we thought that the language in it was just confusing. We could see where they were trying to get, but I had a discussion late yesterday afternoon with our general counsel, and he brought up the problem with the language that's in this bill, or in these bills, is that, the statute of repose is 7 years, and this is calling for basically a guarantee for 10 years. So he had an issue with that, and in the end basically said, I don't know how I could rewrite this to make it any better. Now keep in mind that 7002 is a priority of the Senate president. So I talked with John, and we're gonna have to strategize on this one a little bit. The saving grace is the House bill, with 4 committee referrals, and it's being run by Bill Connerly, who works for Kimley Horn. So we'll get with him, and Derek, I don't know if you or John have brought this up with him yet or not, because it hasn't moved, but we may need to get to him next week and chat with him about this bill.
Okay.
Thanks, Stacy. I like your computer. You got better speakers than I do. All right, and as I mentioned, the Department of Business and Professional Regulation bills, they have not moved either. That's kind of the Doge bill, I call it, where they're revamping a lot of the professional boards. We remain in good shape as of now. I know there was some concern expressed about the Board of Professional Geologists being affected. Obviously, landscape architecture is in there as well. What they're going to do, though, is just put them under the architects, and it'll be the Board of Architects, Board of Architectural and Landscape Architecture. So not taking out the profession or the license or anything, just blending in the two boards, or merging the two boards, I guess you could say. But we'll keep a close eye on that one because of everything else that's going on, both here in the state and federally. DMS, I think we talked about this last week. The DMS bill and the one after that just says executive branch, that would put an end to DBE programs, DEI programs. I don't think either one of these mentioned the small business programs, but we're watching for that, watching other bills that are doing this kind of stuff. But the concern that was raised, if I recall, was we have a lot of members that, operate under, the DBE rules. So far, CLGR and others have decided, let's just stay neutral on this one. Not sure there's a lot to be done about it anyway. It seems to be a priority of not only the governor, but leadership as well. So, but if that's going to be a big issue for us, it'd be good to, get started with some chats with some folks. I don't have any data here that tells me how many of our firms are DBEs, but I know there's several.
Alan, for what it's worth, I was talking to one of my counterparts in Texas this week, and she's on the ACEC Texas board, and there's bills in Texas doing the same thing, and there's ACEC Texas members that are also DBE members. So I believe they're also staying neutral and just monitoring because it does affect their numbers.
Gotcha. Well, we'll certainly keep an eye on it and see where that goes. And then see 893 and 658. Both of these bills would take away design professionals' lien rights in certain situations. So CLGR voted yesterday that we would oppose this one. Or, I mean, we certainly want to go talk to Toby Overdorf. I mean, he's part owner of an engineering company. He may not, sounds to me like it's more structural, even, maybe even residential in some cases, but we'll certainly chat with him about it because that would not be a good thing. And I believe, is Gary Nadow on the phone, on the call? No, he had raised, Derek had asked about this at just about the same time. He sent an email to us with some concerns. So we'll get to work on that one. I've got the other one, Scott. I just heard you talking. So there's these bills for the structural integrity reserve studies that we don't really have a dog in that fight, but I still hate the name of that thing because people get these two, the milestone inspections and the structural integrity study, they get the two confused. And so I'll be watching this one really close, to make sure that they keep them separated and don't wind up affecting us or if affecting the inspections. I know there's several more bills out there, but all of them right now are aimed at the condos themselves, punishing them for not getting their reserves done on time. They were supposed to have had their reserves fully funded by the end of last year, and obviously the condominiums are struggling with that, with the super high assessments and whatnot. So it's an issue they do need to deal with. But so far we've just always decided to stay out of who pays for it and how it gets paid for. There's talk of some loan programs and things like that to help out the condos. But and a couple of those bills have moved, but again, it's not affecting us and the inspections that we had recommended when all that first began. So, but we'll obviously be watching those. And then I'm not really sure what this does. I've got it out to a couple of people I know, members of ours that do the alternative plan reviews and inspections, or the private providers as they're typically called. And I'll get their comments back on that. And I have a personal issue on that one just because I was the chair of the task force that put all that together about 20 years ago. So I just want to see how they're messing up our fine work. And then the last one is just the fire detection one. It doesn't have a house companion. I'm keeping it on my report because I don't want to see this show up as an amendment somewhere. And after what happened to us 2 or 3 years ago on this subject, I don't want that to happen again. And because we were told it was not going to pass, and then right at the last minute it showed up and it did. So anyway, that's kind of my report. Does anybody have any questions, comments?
This is Doug Holdner. I'd like to put a couple other bills on the radar here, but I'll hold off if somebody has some comments or questions on what's already been discussed.
I don't hear anything. Go ahead, Doug.
All right, thank you. House Bill 739 and its companion, Senate Bill 1436. These are on the agenda for the environmental legislative call. I know we didn't have that today, but these are as impactful to transportation as they are environmental, maybe more so. It has to do with sanitary and stormwater sewer inspections, which are really a part of every transportation project. This would affect local governments, their capital, and looks like residential subdivision type work as well. This is something that there's a lot of opposition to. As an example, my conversations with Broward County, there's a couple roadway projects that this would prevent them from doing what they want to do on those particular projects. So the counties and the cities, the League of Cities, Florida Stormwater Association, there's opposition to this. And so I just want to put it on the radar here of the group. If you want to talk to somebody about it, it'd be Rep. Rizzo on Intergovernmental Affairs in the House, and Senator Ana Maria Rodriguez on who chairs the Environment and Natural Resources Committee.
Okay. Is that that's the one that requires the annual inspections of the stormwater?
No, sir, that's 810. This would
Okay.
mandate that local agencies it would supersede any local standards that they have on the books for storm sewer and sanitary sewer construction. And it would mandate that they adhere to solely FDOT construction standards for sanitary, which is odd, and storm sewer construction. And the representative did say that, oh, maybe I could rewrite that so that they would follow FDEP requirements for sanitary sewer construction, which that's really, those don't even exist. So it seems like it's something that's being done to curry favor maybe with a constituent, and just generally a lot of opposition. But I wanted to put that out there so that y'all are aware of it, because it does affect this industry.
Gotcha. I'll look into it.
Sure. The other one, I don't have a whole lot to discuss on it, but it is House Bill 303 and Senate Bill 486, limestone mining operations. And I mean, this certainly would affect transportation projects. It appears to be another attempt to minimize or be restrictive to limestone mining. So I just want to put that out there so that the group is aware of what is happening there.
Yeah, I have that one on my main list, and I'll look into it again and get it on the short list that we do on Fridays if we need to.
Thank you. I'm not in front of the screen, so I didn't see it.
Okay, well, it's not on the report that I have for today. I've got 84 bills on my main tracking
Oh my
list.
goodness.
Yeah, so
Oh, wow.
it would take a little while if I went through that list with you guys. So anyway, thank you, Doug. There was one other one I wanted to mention. It just came up yesterday, or at least we became aware of it yesterday and what it does. It's House Bill 1125, Senate Bill 1264. It's a regional planning bill, but there's language in there that they exempt Space Florida from CCNA. And they're basically saying in there that Space Florida is not a state agency, which that doesn't sound right, but we'll look into that. But just came up yesterday. Obviously, we'll be opposed to anything that's gonna exempt anyone from CCNA. So I'll report more on that one next week. Anybody else? All right, well, it's 10:29, so I appreciate your time this morning, and we'll do it again next week. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Alan.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thanks.